In this video tutorial, we're going to learn how to create a poster in which we're celebrating our teachers and their love of reading using this framework that we're looking right here. We're also going to talk a little bit about color inversion, along with figuring out how to create constraints for text using selections. So, quick look, I see Mr. Bosselet's featured nice and prominently in the right margin of this poster. I can also see that we've got the title of the text. It's a dark font, it's black, and it's on a light background. And I see that the author is light, the text is light itself on a dark background. So we're going to be creating contrast like that in just a moment. But first, however, what do I mean by this text constraints? Well, if I open up this canvas, this blank sheet, I know that what we're going to do is we're going to go to the spreadsheet. You guys signed up for a specific teacher. Yesterday you created the cutout. We've got the title of the book. And now today we've got a little blurb from the teacher describing what makes their text such a compelling selection. Like what about this book really resonates with them? So I'm going to create a selection, or I'm going to copy rather, Mr. Sprinkle's description of the text that he's reading. And now I know that, right, in the past, if we use the text tool, we simply click once and press Command V. We can then create line breaks by going wherever we choose and pressing enter, right? Enter, 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 and so on and so forth. But if we wanted to change the shape of this text, it's kind of a pain in the butt, right? We're gonna have to maybe go to this line, press backspace, and then press enter here. It can get a little tedious. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cancel it. I'm gonna simply click and drag. I'm holding down on the left mouse button. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Command V, and I'm going to press Command V a few more times for good measure. And what I know is that this text is constrained to this box right here, this little kind of like a caption box. I know then if I click and drag the lower right hand corner bounding box, it shifts the text over. If I shift it up, we can see that it's constrained to whatever shape that you create. This is really important because we're going to want to squeeze that description into your poster pretty efficiently. So here's an example of Miss Rubenstein. She's reading Stephen King's 11/22/63. Again, just like with Mr. Bosselet, we're going to be applying something called the rule of thirds that basically just means that we want them featured nice and prominently on the right hand side of the poster. Although that's your discretion, most likely to the on the right hand side. What are we going to do next? You're going to do a little bit of research about what visuals captivate maybe the imagination of the reader. In this case, your teacher. Right now, I just selected this one of JFK and the motorcade. Maybe you're going to have multiple images. You guys are the artists. But then next, of course, we're going to need to add some text. So I'm going to add in the upper left-hand corner, Mrs. Rubenstein is reading 11/22/63 by Stephen King. All right, so we just added text, but we can't see that at all. I'm also going to add the description, not even legible, right? So what are we going to do to create some contrast? The first thing that we're going to do is use the rectangular marquee in the paint bucket. And what I did was I selected this red because it matches this red right here on the front of our text. And additionally, I'm going to add some, let's see, there we go. I'm going to add some more shapes, some more rectangles beneath this other text. We're not done yet, and I'll elaborate. Instead of having 11/22/63 in black, what we're going to do is we're going to make it white. And we're going to do the same thing with the author's name. This way, when we take a closer look at it, what do we have? We have two sort of ideas, right? Mrs. Rubenstein is reading, and then we've got this title of the text. And we're splitting it up by having red text on a white background and white text on a red background. We're going to be applying that text, that technique because it's one widely used by many graphic designers, and we're always striving for professionalism, right? Um, Additionally, just like I explained before, I used the text tool. I held down and I dragged to create that selection. I'm going to press Command V as an example using Mr. Sprinkle's text. I'm going to reduce the size. Oops, let's make title edit all by pressing Command A. I'm going to reduce the size. And now when I'm looking right here, I can see that there's something called a leading that's pretty far apart, right? The space between each line break is pretty significant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Command A, and if I click on this little icon, it says toggle the character and paragraph panels. If I pull that up, what I can then do is adjust the leading. The leading is to the right of the font size, and I'm going to change it from 53 to auto. Boom. And there we go. That's another example of how we can add the text. We don't want to conceal the former president and his wife. And it looks like Miss Rubenstein is really enjoying this book. Further, I included the NYC Lab School logo. What did I do? Clicked on the green using the magic wand, Command Shift I. So just everything but the green is selected, right? Just the white and the star. Then I dropped the opacity to, I think, let's see, to about 50%. That way it's sort of subtle in the background, but we're still, stamping our brand on all this, on all our amazing work. I guess one final point is that this rectangle that we're using to create contrast, it's overlapping the background and it's underneath Miss Rubenstein. Likewise for right here. So what we can do is we can create this little, we can say element of 3D where Mr. Bachelet, for example, is in front of the text, which is in front of the background. I'm looking for a really compelling, we'll call this reading posters. I'm looking for text inversion. So I'm looking for example, red on white, white on red. I'm looking for maybe yellow and purple, purple and yellow. We're looking for a lot of contrast. Capture the imagination of the reader, and can't wait to see your work.